Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the presentation of how Fresenius Medical Care did migration of SharePoint 2010 dashboards to SharePoint 2013. My name is Jovce Plastinovsky, and I work for Microsoft Services in Macedonia. And together with Helge, we are going to present the migration. Little bit information about the company. Fresenius Medical Care is the world's, thank you, it's the world's largest integrated provider of products and services for individuals undergoing dialysis treatments. As a global company with 70,000 employees worldwide, Fresenius is using SharePoint as a business intelligence platform to provide their management with real-time and accurate data about company's performance. The migration itself was done as part of the OneTap program, Technical Assistant Program. And Technical Assistant OneTap is a opportunity for Microsoft Product Group, Microsoft Services, and the customer to deploy, to do early adoption of Microsoft emerging technologies. As a benefits for the customer being part of the OneTap program, customer can lead by gaining a strategic advantage by adopting emerging Microsoft technologies. The customer can also influence by providing an early and deep feedback to help shape Microsoft technologies, and can connect by partnering with Microsoft to deploy solutions which can use the latest and the newest Microsoft technology. The customer can also use benefits of support and training, and also customer can use the public announcements opportunities as well. So we've spent some time working on this program. I think that we spent like 6 months working on it. It was hard work, but also great fun. And I would like to thank John, Joanne, Dennis, Derek from Microsoft, and to Dev Gupta from Fresenius to work with us on this program. And now I would like to ask Helge to introduce himself, and he's going to give us more information about the migration itself, and he's going to do a live demo.
Well, thank you, Jovce.
You're welcome.
I'd like to welcome everybody from my side. My name is Helge Höhn. I'm working at Fresenius Netcare. Fresenius Netcare is the global IT service provider for Fresenius Medical Care. And in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to tell you every single step we have done in our program. And I'm aiming to provide a step-by-step guide for you that you are then able to do the same that we did, like migrating your performance point dashboards in SharePoint 2010 to 2013. And even if you have not done any dashboarding before, I'm sure after this session you will be able to do the migration. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'm really aiming for 45 minutes, so if there are any questions, I would like to ask you maybe if we can ask these questions after the session so we don't run out of time at the end. And before I start right here, I would like to ask you how many of you are already doing performance point dashboarding with 2010? Okay, some. Did anybody do something on SharePoint 2013? Okay, there one. Okay, at least somebody. Okay, thank you. Okay, before I come to the migration, I would like to tell you something about the story, what we have during that program. So, at Fresenius Medical Care, we have one controlling department which is responsible for our global manufacturing operations. And this controlling department is using SAP Business Warehouse for doing all the data aggregation, and they have to provide a monthly reporting for their executives. And what they did every month is when all the regions, all the plants have uploaded their data into SAP, they did a download using Excel and using the proprietary interface that SAP provides for Excel. They downloaded the data from SAP into Excel. They created their charts and report in Excel. They copied everything from Excel into PowerPoint, and then they distributed their monthly reporting using PowerPoint slides via email to the executives. And this was quite a little bit hard for them, so there was some pain because just imagine when there was a little teeny tiny adjustment in the regions, when there was a correction of the data, the whole process had to be done, had to be run through again, so it was always a lot of work. And there was a huge user demand for a change. So in fact, there was a user demand for automizing of the report generation, so they really wanted to get rid of all that manual creation of the reporting, all that manual update each month. Furthermore, they wanted to have some more interactive and centralized reporting, so executives would be able to access their reports and their dashboards at 24 hours a day and have the most recent versions always available for them. And last but not least, they wanted to have a simplification of the report generation itself and the distribution. So they really wanted to get rid of that email distribution thing because it caused a lot of trouble. So, in fact, what I just told you is summarized on this architecture slide here. You see we have two parts. We have the left part, the ETL, which means extract, transform, and load process. This is what I meant with when all of the regions uploaded their current data each month into SAP Business Warehouse. So SAP Business Warehouse is basically used for the data aggregation and providing multidimensional databases for reporting. And the right part, the reporting part, is what our controllers did every month. They used the SAP BACS analyzer, which is actually an add-in for Excel. I'm not sure if anybody knows it, but it's actually used for pulling down and for querying data out of SAP into Excel. And then they created their reports, they created their PowerPoint, they distributed them, and they had a lot of pain. So, and then we introduced SharePoint because we thought that SharePoint 2010, and especially the BI capabilities of SharePoint 2010, were exactly the right things for meeting our user demand. And would like to start with the right part of the slide. You see, we completely have replaced the former reporting part by SharePoint. And what we actually did is we used performance point services and reporting services to create dashboards which simply show the same information and show the same reports with a light enhancement, of course, what we had before. And then we were able to meet a lot of the new requirements, like having a central place where everything is available, having it up to date, having it browser-based, get rid of the email distribution. So everything was fine. The only problem we had then is that SharePoint is not able to connect against SAP Business Warehouse. So we really wanted to keep that aggregation process in Business Warehouse, and therefore we were looking for an interface to connect to Business Warehouse. And actually, this is shown here in the middle as an extension of the former ETL process. And you see that we have used the counterpart for SAP. That's actually a solution from Udesic. And what this tool does, you can imagine this as an app or an addition or tool for a SQL Server. You install this on SQL Server, and then this tool connects to your SAP Business Warehouse, to all of your cubes and your queries you have in Business Warehouse, and directly transform them into SQL Server analysis services. So your SAP cubes are afterwards available with the same structure, with the same data, with the same members in SQL Server analysis services. And then you can connect with SharePoint, and of course with Excel as well, with everything from the Microsoft world or with everything which is able to connect to these SQL Server analysis services cubes and to your SAP data using that interface. And you see we have two things here. We have first the direct connection. So actually we had dashboard pages which directly used the same cubes as they were in SAP. So we did only some small modifications. But what we also did is we were able to create our own data warehouse based on our native SAP data, because we downloaded even more cubes with that interface and disassembled them and assembled them to whole new cubes we had not before. And then we were also able to add features like time intelligence, which is not possible in the current SAP installation, and other features as well. So with that architecture, and this is how it is today, how they're using it today, we were able of meeting all the user requirements we had. And then, through the technical adoption program, what Jofse just meant, we thought, okay, now SharePoint 2013 is coming. Maybe there are some improvements. And we would like to test and to check out if we have some improvements, because one of the highest, one of the most strongest user demands, apart from everything we already have achieved, was we wanted to access our dashboards using our tablets and our mobile devices. We don't want to have it only at our PCs in the office. We want to access it everywhere. And that was one of the main reasons why we started that project. And basically what we did in that project is, as you can see on the right, on the blue box here, we replaced the whole SharePoint 2010 reporting environment with SharePoint 2013. And we used the performance point services and reporting services of SharePoint 2013. You also see the SQL Server 2012 logo in it, because SQL Server 2012 is necessary for the full reporting services integration in SharePoint 2013. So we still have our old data environment, what is summarized as the ETL process on the left, available and up running today. But we had at least to install some components of the new SQL Server for getting the whole integration up running with reporting services in 2013. Okay, that's for the story. Now I'm going to tell you how we did the migration. So this slide pretty much summarizes the whole migration process. So first of all, you have to install SharePoint Server 2013. How surprising. Next, you install and configure SQL Server 2012 reporting services components on the SharePoint machine. Those of you who have already done the integration in 2010, that might sound familiar to you. So it's a little bit the same, but it has changed on the other hand. So the integration of reporting services in SharePoint Server 2013 is now done by an own service application. So I come to this back later. So in 2010, it was like this. You run that installer for the reporting services integration, and then you could configure this on the tools in central administration. And now you are able to create an own service application for the reporting service integration. Then you have next to configure SharePoint Server 2013, at least the necessary things you have to configure at least for making dashboarding and BI running. E.g. the Secure Store service and Performance Point service. And then finally, you have to migrate your dashboards using the tools Dashboard Designer 2013 and Report Builder 3. Okay, so I was talking about the changes with the reporting services integration. And this slide pretty much high-level summarizes what you have to do. If you want to do the reporting services integration in 2013, you have to run SQL Server setup on the machine, and you have to check these boxes you see in one, reporting services for SharePoint and reporting services admin for SharePoint products. You have to install these on the machine, and as soon as you have done this, you are able to execute some PowerShell methods, PowerShell commands, which are required that you afterwards are able to create these reporting services, service applications in SharePoint 2013. So what you basically have to do is you have to first install SPRS servers, then install SPRS service proxy, and then a very intuitive command which is summarized on 3. And as soon as you have done this, you can go to set administration and create your service application. Okay, right now I'm going to switch to the live demo. Actually, I must admit it is a recorded live demo because I saw during other sessions that they had some internet connectivity issues. Therefore, I did a recording. I will comment it as it would be a live recording, live demo. So you might not even recognize it. And it shows everything what I did one day ago. So, starting with this website, this is only something I would like to show you that you know it is there. This is the TechDeck article, how you do the whole integration for reporting services. It's very detailed. I don't want to go through it. I only want to show it to you that it is there. In my presentation at the end, I have provided a link where you can look it up. So, when you have run these PowerShell commands I've shown you, then you can go to Set Administration in SharePoint Server 2013. You go to the Manage Service Applications option. Open this up. And then what you will see next is you can create a new service application. And then we see there's the new service application, SQL Server Reporting Services Service Application. Say it 3 times and you're happy. You can create the service application. And I did this. And then it will be among all the other service applications you have here. It was hard finding me for me finding the service application demo. There it is. And when you click it and you click the Manage button, you see all the options that you can that you have. And the only thing I want to show you is that you always have to make sure, at least what I would recommend, that you have enabled the option that Report Builder is going to be downloaded when you want to create or edit reports. Like, there's one option, go a little bit down further, and there it is, Enable Report Builder Download. So this should already be checked at least, because otherwise you will run into troubles later. I will show you. Okay, so far for everything in Set Administration. Now we are going to switch to our dashboard in SharePoint Server 2010. This is the landing page of our dashboard for executives on SharePoint 2010. It is only a demo version with demo data, but it looks pretty much the same. So you see we have added some web parts for an easy access to all of the dashboard pages. And I'm going to demonstrate the migration using the variance analysis dashboard page. So when you click this, what you see here, you see a typical performance point services dashboard. You have all the filters at the top. We have month. We have our hierarchy of our organization. We can switch between a single month or a year-to-date view. Year-to-date pretty much summarize all month until the current. We have a scorecard on the left. We have 2 reporting services reports on the right. The one with the bridge you see, and the lower one. And I paused the video for just one moment because what this dashboard actually shows you is that you have your budget and your actual, and the bridge on the top right corner demonstrates you how was your budget affected, by which statistical impacts was it affected, that it ran through the actual in that month. So we really did, it was really hard to work on this report that it looked like this. But in fact, it was exactly what our controlling people wanted. And this was only possible to do with the reporting services. So no way to do this with the analytical charts or any other component of performance point services. And there's another report. And what is also possible to do is you can click on that bar here, and then we have realized a drill through with reporting services. Like you click on that bar, that is one effect, a negative effect, and you want to know which units have participated in creating that effect. And it shows you this right now. And it's downloading. And then you see the distribution across all of the units. And I stopped the video again right now here because the data you see here right now is actually the data from SAP Business Warehouse. This is the same data as it is in SAP Business Warehouse, and we have provided a web part for our controlling persons that they can update the data by themselves. So in fact, because SAP is a little bit slower than analysis services, we are actually replicating the data into analysis services. And we have provided something for them that they can do, or that they can start that data replication by themselves. So they're actually completely by themselves when they wanted to update the data. And this interface from the ESIC also transfers the hierarchies, as you can see here. And when you click one of these filters, then the current hierarchy member is passed through all of the dashboard elements, and they get updated. Okay. So that's for the dashboard. I mean, that's only an example for one of the dashboard pages we have created. And now I'm going to start the migration, and I'm doing this by simply exporting, or first of all, opening my dashboard. I'm doing this with a context menu. And I'm opening this in Dashboard Designer. And as soon as it is opened, I'm going to export it. So I'm simply using the standard exporting functionality, which is done by, or which is provided by Dashboard Designer. And as you can see, I have used the context menu to open Dashboard Designer. I have not used how do you say, what is entered in the start menu, the shortcut, to launch it, because I really want to make sure that I always use the right version. Especially when you're migrating between two systems, then it might happen that that shortcut starts a different version of Dashboard Designer, which doesn't fit to your current cumulative update or your SharePoint server version. So always open these dashboard items like this. Okay, they're open right now. Dashboard Designer is retrieving all the dependent items for me, which is very nice. And as soon as everything is loaded, I can use the Save Workspace As option and save the whole dashboard, including all items, onto my desktop. Done. Okay, that's everything I have to do in SharePoint 2010 regarding the dashboard, performance point dashboard items. And now what you see is I have opened another tab in Internet Explorer with SharePoint 2013. And it's looking exactly the same, so you also have that welcome page with that tile views, with that tiles in it. Actually, we have created these tiles that it is easier on tablet PCs or on tablets to click with your fingers on the dashboards. And I have created one performance point list and two libraries, one for the data connections and one for the SQL Server reports. And as you see is that performance point items list is still completely empty. Because I want to do a full migration, so there's nothing prepared. I'm really copying these items. And what is new in SharePoint 2013 is that when you have a performance point item list, then you have a new option in the ribbon at the top, and you see you have a button to start the Dashboard Designer. You also have these import and export content things. I have not used them. I directly start Dashboard Designer. And in 2010, it was like this. The only chance to start Dashboard Designer when you have a new site collection was you had to choose the BI template. And then on the very first page, there was a little button where you could start Dashboard Designer. So this is not necessary any longer. Yes, so I always start Dashboard Designer like this when I have a new empty performance point item list. And I want to start it. And what I'm going to do, there you see the one list and the two libraries. And what I'm going to do, I simply use the import items option here, functionality, select my exported dashboard, and import it into SharePoint 2013. Doing this, I have to select the list and libraries where I want to copy my content into. So I just pause it here. On the left side, you see import from, which simply means that the export earlier was done like this, that Dashboard Designer memorizes the list names that you have used. So if you have the same list names on your target machine, regardless if you are migrating to the next SharePoint version, or if you simply are deploying from your test system to your productive system, if you have the same names, then you don't have to do what I do right now, it will be pre-selected. But I've done this here to show you what is the worst case, what you can do. And for 4 libraries here, it might not make any difference, but in our dashboard we have 25 lists and libraries, and there it is a little bit annoying when you always have to assign them. Okay, now I'm done, and I choose not to import data sources which are already in my data source library because I don't want to update the server names. And now I let Dashboard Designer copy everything into SharePoint 2013. And I'm going to fast forward this a little bit, skip some seconds here. It was very slow on my demo machine. So now it is done. I click Finish, and now Dashboard Designer is going to load everything I have just imported into my workspace I have in Dashboard Designer. Yes. Tells me import completed successfully. How nice. And you see the workspace got updated. Usually it's much faster, but on my demo machine it was very slow. And yes, you really want to make sure that it is the right Dashboard Designer version. So to check this, you can use that one here, like press Resources and check the assembly version and the file version. When it has a 15 at the very beginning, then it's the right version for SharePoint 2013. Okay, so the last thing we have to do before we deploy the dashboard, we have to check our reports, our reporting services reports. So as you can see here, I pause it for a minute. We still have the old SharePoint site from our SharePoint 2010 machine. And the thing is, when you do dashboard migration or deployment in SharePoint 2010 or 2013, when you have only these performance point items, which are natively supported by performance point services, like scorecards, KPIs, analytical charts, analytical grids, or something like this, it's very easy. But as soon as you use, I call them external reports, like reporting services reports, it is a little bit more of, there are some more steps to do, like this here. And before I can adjust the server URL, I have to copy the reports on to SharePoint 2013. And you see here, first of all, I thought, okay, cool. SharePoint 2013 has such a nice icon to start Dashboard Designer in the ribbon. There must be something for reporting services too. It is not. So if you want to start Report Builder on the new SharePoint version, I'm always doing the same trick I was doing in SharePoint 2010. I select one report which is already there. You also, if there's no report there, you can create a new one using the report SSRS report content type, reporting services report content type. And in this case, I have already 2 of my 3 reports migrated. So I show you now the migration of 1 report. And to do this, you first have to start Report Builder. And you see it's the Report Builder version. It's still version 3.0 as it was in SQL Server 2008 R2. But it is the version from SQL Server 2012. So this is very important. If you're not seeing this logo, it will not work. So always make sure that this is the right Report Builder version. So I'm now going to open the site collection of my SharePoint 2010 on my SharePoint 2010 machine. And I'm going to select the last report I have to migrate for the dashboard page you've seen. And I'm going to fast forward a little bit more here. Okay, this is my old 2010 site collection. There's the content, there's my reports library, and I just opened the last of the 3 reports I have to migrate. And there it is. It's still loading. And what we have done, if there's no data to be shown, we have replaced the no data printout with an image, which I definitely can recommend you because it does not confuse users, and it looks much more pretty. And now I save the report in SharePoint 2013. And therefore, I also use the latest sites and servers shortcut. I'm happy to teach you some German today. I'm very sorry, but I wasn't able to get the English version installed here. So that is my site collection on the SharePoint 2013 machine, where we have started Dashboard Designer just a moment ago. There's my demo library, and this library is now used to store the last report, which is missing for a whole migration. Okay, save it here. And as soon as it is done with saving, I'm going to quit Report Builder. And what I'm then going to do is I'm going back to my SharePoint 2013 site collection, and I'm going to adjust the data source of the new report. So first of all, refresh the page, see if it is there. Yes, very nice. And then I simply use the context menu and click on the Manage Data Sources tab. And there's my data source, which I have created in Report Builder. And then what you might do is you want to exchange your database server, what I'm doing right now here. That's another demo system that we have. And I give him some stored credentials. You also can use your AD integration, but in this case, I'm giving some stored credentials. Make sure that these are Windows credentials. Test the connection. Always test the connection. And we see it is successful. And then we are done with the data source adjustment of our new database server. And now we can go back to Dashboard Designer and change the last things. We have to adjust the URLs of our reports. And this is the site collection of the SharePoint 2013 machine. I'm typing in the new site collection. And then this is actually new in Dashboard Designer 2013. It has that nice drop-down selection menu where you can select your libraries. In 2010, it was like this, that you always have to copy the full URL of the report of the RDL file in your library. But this is much easier right now. And there is my report. Actually, what would be even more nicer if there would be a SharePoint site parameter that you could define Dashboard Designer. So you define this only once for all of your reports, but this might be included in the next version. So preview it. There we see report is running. Fine. And now we copy that URL and go to the next report. Just paste it. Select the report library again. My demo reports. Fine, and we select the last report. And actually, this is the report we have just copied using Report Builder. So that is the last one. And now we're going to preview it. Always preview reports in Dashboard Designer. I can totally recommend that. Loading is always a good sign. And now we see that our migrated report works. That is very cool. And now we have done everything, and now we finally can deploy our dashboard into SharePoint 2013. And we select document library. We want to deploy all the ASPX pages into. And then we select a master page. And there are some new master pages in SharePoint. And I use the belt-down master page here because it has no left menu navigation. And this is very nice if you have tablets which you're using to access the site, because then there's more space. And now we're deploying it. And I fast forward a little bit here. Okay, Dashboard Designer tries to open the dashboard after deployment. And I just close this because I want to open the dashboard from the welcome page. And therefore, I open the welcome page up again and click the variance analysis tile and open up my dashboard. And this is now an Internet Explorer. And as you can see, it looks exactly the same as it looks in SharePoint 2010. I mean, there's another master page, of course, so a little bit different, but in fact, it's completely the same. It completely works the same. All the filters are working, all the reports are working. So you see it doesn't look exactly the same here at the top and at the bottom as well. And Microsoft just did a good job in making it browser independent, in my opinion. So I'm not sure if anybody has recognized it, but I've switched to Firefox right now. See in the top left, there's the Firefox logo. And you see it is exactly the same in Firefox as well. Actually, I must admit, Firefox did a much better job than IE9 in my testing, but it was only the SharePoint beta, so sorry for that. But I think IE10 will be much better. So this is the dashboard right now. You see no problem. And you might ask yourself how this was all possible to convince SharePoint to be so easy in our migration. And this is because we had a very great site admin, very cool farm admin. And I will show you my site afterwards. But you see filters are working, and you see this is our farm admin. So he just helped us a lot. Good old Chuck. Okay, that's the migration. Pretty straightforward, in my opinion, very easy. I was very afraid that I had to do some strange database detach and attach things and run scripts and whatever, but very straightforward, so I'm very, very satisfied with the whole migration process. And I also took some screenshots on my cell phone, on my Galaxy S3, and you see even there the dashboard does look exactly as you have seen it in the demo. So it's pretty cool. Actually, it's very fast on my Galaxy S3. I also did some tests on iPads with iOS 5.1 and 6.0. It was also very good, so no complaints about that. Really looking forward to go to the final version of SharePoint and providing this. Okay. Last but not least, I would like to share a lot of best practices and findings I was able to find out through the whole migration process. And I would like to start with this. With the first one here, the SQL Server reporting services integration requires the Service Pack 1 of SQL Server 2012. So you definitely have to install Service Pack 1. I installed the Community Technology Preview 3 during that time when I did this, but I learned in this week that the Service Pack 1 is out since November 8th, I think. Is that correct? Great, thanks. And so we can install the final version of Service Pack 1. Next, the integration of reporting services is PowerShell-based. So this is new. You have seen it in the slides before. This is something you have to know because I was wondering about how to do the integration. And then I found out, okay, it is so easy. Then SharePoint 2013, the beta I've used had still some CSS bugs. I'm sure that they will be fixed in the final version, but for me, there was something like I had color formatting in the scorecards in Dashboard Designer, and the scorecards who were deployed had a different color formatting, for example. And I got the approval by Microsoft that this is already a known bug, and I'm sure that this will be fixed in the RTM of SharePoint. Had no chance to test it, but I'm pretty sure. One best practice I definitely can recommend you, check your fonts and color settings you have made in your 2010 dashboard after the migration. You have seen there's a new master page in SharePoint 2013. We have now HTML5 and we have JavaScript, and it might look different. And if you use the nice eraser tool in Dashboard Designer, I didn't know that there is something like this, but now I know, then your dashboards really look pretty afterwards. So it was a good thing to get rid of all of the font formatting. Next one, definitely watch out if you use multi-authentication or a non-Windows authentication provider, if you want to use these Click Once tools as Report Builder or Dashboard Designer. At Fresenius, we have Lotus Notes as the primary system for mailing, and therefore we also have enabled SharePoint to authenticate using your Lotus Notes credentials. And if you are having a multi-authentication enabled web application, then the Click Once tools will not work. So what we did is we extended the web applications to a Windows authentication only zone, and then we were able to use the tools. So this is something that is, which is like this in SharePoint 2010, And it's still like this in SharePoint 2013. Watch out for the correct dashboard designer and report builder version. Definitely watch out for it. I can only tell you, will have strange behavior if you use the wrong versions. So always start the click once applications as you've seen it in the demo. Then, next thing, do not use Explorer View for copying your reports. I did this first, and it doesn't work. So if you use Explorer View, as I did it in 2010, then your reports will not be rendered in 2013. If you click them, they will show up, but Dashboard Designer will not be able to assign them in the dashboard. So always use the method you've seen here, like using the new report builder version, opening up the report, and save it. And then, what you've seen, in my opinion, business intelligence performs well on mobile devices. I've tested it on several. And last but not least, you might are wondering why this guy has not used Power View in this new dashboard, because Power View is a new feature of the Office 2013 stack. And the problem is that Power View cannot yet connect to cubes, to multidimensional data. Yesterday at the Ask the Experts event, I learned that this will be supported pretty soon, but right now it is not. So I have not used Power View in my dashboard so far. Benefits reached. As I told you earlier, the most important benefit for us is that we can access SharePoint through mobile devices, and it's very compatible across all tablets I've tested and cell phones. We definitely can reach a higher user adoption through the new user interface. So just as an example, the sharing option for documents, like you can directly use the share functionality, the new people picker. This is actually one of my most favorites. This is how it should be since SharePoint 23. The task view, the new task view that you have, is very strong improvement in my opinion, so high user adoption. Single point of entry, also very important for us. Our users always have the problem, they have access to many SharePoint sites, and they don't know to which they have access to. So in SharePoint 2013, you can easily follow these sites, and furthermore, as an administrator, you can push applications or site collections into the My site of these users. So they always know to which latest business applications they have access to. And then, last but not least, the commitment to claims-based authentication. As I mentioned, we have multi-authentication, and we are using claims-based authentication, which is the new authentication model in SharePoint 2013 since SharePoint 2010. So there's no classic mode necessary, and I really hope that everything in the whole Microsoft stack will fully be claims-based compatible very soon. I mean, it already is, but sometimes there are some troubles. Okay, this slide, some links. I mentioned the download link for the Service Pack 1, and there's also the link for the SQL Server integration and the link to the new business intelligence features in SharePoint 2013. And also, if I'm not able to answer any questions today, you feel free to contact me at my email address. I hope there will be not so many questions, but if there are, I try to answer you as fast as possible. And then finally, I can only tell you, I really got infected by SharePoint. So SharePoint came into my head get up, and SharePoint went in, and it closed, and it never get out again. So I was really infected by SharePoint. I can only encourage you to get infected by SharePoint 2. It is 2013 2. It is a really cool product in my opinion. So try it out if you have not done it, and it is really cool. And now I'm at the end of my session, and if you enjoyed this session, I would encourage you to evaluate the session at this link. And if you have any questions, I will be here for answering your questions. So I hope you had fun, and have a great day, and have a safe trip home if you leave today. Like this? You want to see the animation again, I know. Okay. So that's basically it. Thank you.
There's a question.
You said you have your cubes in the SAP environment, in the data warehouse, and also you are then building cubes in your SQL environment. So that means you are sort of the picker
Yes. So the question was if we are having redundant data in SAP Business Warehouse and in analysis services. That's right? So yes, we have this. We have redundant data only because of speed issues. It would be possible to directly store the data only in Business Warehouse. And with that interface we're using, you can directly pass through the SAP to the Business Warehouse. But the responsiveness was too slow, and so we switched to MOLAB mode in analysis services, and this does simply a whole replication of the whole data. When you Yes, so performance issues when you refresh the cubes. So it really depends on how many dimensions you have in your cube. So the quickest cube I have takes 1 minute and 30 seconds, and the most longest duration I have is 18 minutes for one SAP cube. I think 500,000 rows maybe. We are doing so. It depends on what the interface is recognizing. So sometimes a full refresh, sometimes it's incremental. Please. Is
there real-time data on the dashboard?
Pardon me, I didn't hear you.
Is there real-time data on the dashboard?
Yes. The data is as real as it is provided by all of the units. So they are updating their data at least one time a month. In our case, but it would also be possible that they do whatever, more frequent updates like 4 or 5 times a day. So for example, when they have their monthly reporting, which is limited to 1 week, then all of the units are updating their data one and one again. And during that time, our controlling people are updating these queries 10 or 12 times a day. So it's no problem.
So it's always a batch process. It's not
It is a batch, so we are doing an automatic update every 24 hours, and we're providing an on-demand update by a web part in SharePoint, so we can update all the data sources.
You could say real time, but it's not really real time.
I mean, it is as real as it can be, yeah? So, right. That's right. The question is, what is real time, right? That's right. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Default values you can set on the dashboard.
Right.
And if they want, they can process.
Exactly.
LOD.
Exactly.
Does all your data live kind of, I don't know how to say, live kind of the database just goes back and forth, or do you have periodically mass data uploads and do mass data uploads when you use that?
I mean, we are using SAP. I'm hoping I answer this question correctly. So we are using SAP as the primary data source. So every updates that are made are directly uploaded in SAP. They are using their SAP. I think the system is updated by CSV files. So they have some kind of Excel templates, and they have some kind of routines which creates CSV files, and then they can upload it. And then there's an interface in SAP where you can see when the last upload of that unit has been done. And we are only connecting to the result of that whole ETL process. Yeah, because we don't want to touch this. It works.
Can you use SQL 2008 R2 or should be the SQL Server 2005?
We are using 2008 R2 right now. So for having the databases available in SQL Server, you are fine with 2008 and 2008 R2. And you only need at least 2012 for the reporting services integration for SharePoint. So if you want to only move your data to SQL Server, then 2008 R2 is fine. Any more questions? Okay, I think we are done for today. We end up early, so